We're joined by Aquamarine Capital Management CEO Yueh Spier. Guy, nice to see you. Barclays results, very quickly, reaction to those, first of all.
Well, I think it's an example of how being outside of the Eurozone is probably a good thing. Barclays, I suspect, has a much more rational relationship with the Central Bank of the United Kingdom than all of these European banks in their relationship with the European Central Bank. British borrowing costs have been going down, the pound has been strong. I think it's fantastic, and it shows that the European economy and the global economy is actually recovering in spite of all the depression we see around.
Now, many investors, asset allocators that I speak to on this program are not touching financials with a barge pole. It is a different story for you. What are your holdings? What are you holding them in, and why?
Yes, I'm extremely pregnant, Owen, with American banks, American money center banks. And those include Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citigroup, a bank out on the West Coast called Capital Source Enterprises, as well as some of the credit card networks like MasterCard and American Express.
But what gives you the confidence in those banks? Because there are doom mongers, as we all know, that saying, you know what, 2008, we're staring a similar picture right in the face.
And you know, there's an Arab expression which says you get bitten by a snake once, and then every time you see a rope, you think you're looking at a snake. And I think that the things that happened in 2008 happened. People were shocked by them. They never expected them to happen. But I think that we have an American policymaking team that is battle-tested, that will ensure that what happened in 2008 does not happen again. And so people are scared stiff. If you have investors in a fund like mine and you tell them that you own financials, many investors will get very, very scared by that. But there's actually nothing to be scared of. In fact, the future of the banking sector in the United States is much, much better than its recent past.
But plenty to be scared of in Europe, though, because you're not holding much in European financials.
I'm not holding much in European financials at all. I think that the paradox in Europe, Owen, is that there is no question that we here in Europe have the resources to take care of the issues that are facing Italy and Greece and Portugal. But we don't have the decision-making ability. We have this continuous swirling around of people trying to get decisions, but we don't have an institution or a process by which those decisions get made. And I think that that crisis could last an extremely long time.
Well, how long? How long is a piece of string, I suppose? But are we talking 6 months, 2 years, 20 years?
You know, I think that the unfortunate truth is that what needs to happen is that things have to get acute enough, fast enough, for there to be a thorough resolution. And even this last European financial stability institution, which will have more than €1 billion of capitalization, George Soros said that it will last between 1 day and 3 months before we're in major crisis again. What it really needs, and it seems like the decision makers here, I mean, this Schäuble talking about a Tobin tax, I think that it shows how far away he is from how the markets actually work. Does he not realize that if they put a Tobin tax in Europe, financial transactions will be diverted so fast out of Europe?
Let's get more analysis from our guest, Yueh Spier, Chief Executive of Aquamarine Capital Management, and of course, economics correspondent Linda Yueh is also with us. Number one priority for Mr. Draghi, Guy?
Oh, it's very straightforward, and the Germans are not going to like it, but it is exactly what was just said. Give the European Central Bank the ability to support the bond market directly. The Germans are going to hate it because it's potentially inflationary.
So are they going to allow it?
I think that
forced into it?
They have been obviously extremely reluctant. I think that probably the career of Angela Merkel or one or two other German politicians ends, and that potentially is the resolution of the crisis. A fundamental change in the structure of the European Central Bank, such that it is there not just to be against inflation, but also to support growth. And that is the number one priority of Mr. Italian new governor.
Linda?
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to the ECB. If it were to take that role, if there wasn't political opposition to it, could actually end the crisis, Guy? I mean, would that be the final solution we've all been waiting for? We may have to wait a couple of years, it sounds like.
I think that's absolutely right. It would be the end to the crisis. It would be a fundamental change to post-war Germany's political settlement, which was, we're a country that's deeply fearful of runaway inflation, and we want to do everything to avoid it. And it would be a change in the nature of Europe. Rather than the euro's money being more like the Swiss franc or the German mark, it'll be more in the direction of what was the Italian lira.
There's a lot of fear out there, isn't there, about liquidity in banks and also the new capital rules that are coming in, just how much they are restricting. I'm wondering, Guy, whether you think perhaps that's overplayed. Let's not forget we've got very low interest rates. We've got central banks' ability to create money. We're not staring 2008 in the face, notably about liquidity and banks and lending to each other.
And you know, the fascinating thing about banking, especially central banking, is that capital is in the eye of the beholder. And if the markets believe that you have enough capital, then you have enough capital. So you can understand why the banks are saying these capital requirements are too high. But the bottom line is it's all about credibility. And we have at the center of Europe a central bank that is not credible. And if they had the policies to be able to, for example, buy unlimited amounts in an extreme crisis, first of all, they would have credibility. And then after that, the banks, the banks that are in Europe would also have credibility. That just doesn't exist right now.
Can I push you a little bit on what else we need to see in the Eurozone? Because you hear there's a lot from Jean-Claude Trichet that what they really need to see is to have some type of fiscal union, a finance ministry. I mean, is that the kind of structural change we need to see in the Euro before people in the market are confident again?
You have me split on that front, because I look at this financial stability organization and I say this is a sham. Because at the end of the day, it's financed by national governments and all of the politics that goes around it. And what we would prefer is clear policy of taxation, ability to raise funds on a central basis and issue them on a central basis. But
Very quickly.
Politically, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay.